It's a vast expanse of desert, covering more than 100,000 square miles. Dangerous and inhospitable, one of the hottest places on Earth.
The Australian Outback is an unforgiving place. It's very harsh. The heat, you're looking 45 degrees Celsius, stinking hot, simple as that.
But Matthew is confident that he knows the area well and has come well prepared.
We had 20 litres of water, spare tyres, food, tent and all that. I reckon I took pretty much all I needed to take.
Matthew and Shannon drive for over 2 hours, deeper and deeper into the desert. But there's no sign of the waterhole.
We're just pretty much going through a bush track, not well defined on the ground or anything. It's just virtually a couple of wheel tracks going through the scrub.
His 4x4 is a tough vehicle, but Matthew is driving in ever rougher terrain.
Kidding me. You stay here, it's all right.
What happened, Dad?
It's a tyre. It's no problem.
Matthew has come well prepared and has 3 spare tyres on board.
I wasn't in particularly good mood of changing a tyre at that time of the day. I was sweating, yeah, I was bloody soaked to the bone.
It's all right, it's all done. You all right? Yeah, that's good. Let's go.
With the tyre fixed and 2 more spares in the back, Matthew is still confident he can find the fishing spot. But the desert is strewn with boulders and sharp rocks.
What was that, Dad?
It's the tyre.
I'd only gone a couple of miles and then I had to change another tyre.
It's now mid-afternoon, the hottest time of the day, with temperatures hitting 115 degrees Fahrenheit. And Matthew begins to have doubts about his quest to search for the rock pool.
I was just wondering whether it was all worth it or not, pretty much.
But still eager to live up to the promise he made to Shannon, Matthew decides to press on.
We'll be fine. Let's get going.
By my calculations, we're about halfway from where we'd come from to where we were going. And what's the point of turning around? Might as well continue on.
By late afternoon, and 60 miles out into the desert, Matthew fears he's losing his way.
I'm sure it's around here someplace.
I sort of run out of road, I lost me track. I was sort of a little bit worried that we hadn't got to where we were going.
I could actually tell that Dad was worried. I knew something serious was going on.
With just 1 spare tyre left, Matthew abandons his quest to go fishing and decides that it's time to get Shannon home.
had one more spare tyre, but the way I was going through the tyres, I didn't think I had enough.
Dad. Are we gonna be all right?
Daddy again, Dad.
I was pretty peeved about the idea of getting a third puncher, again in a stinking heat.
Matthew knows that the 4x4 is their only way out. But with no more spares, another puncture could be fatal. With hundreds of miles of scorching desert all around, there's no way they could ever walk out of here alive.
You all right, sweetheart?
Yep.
Good. Right, let's go.
Are we lost, Daddy?
Shannon said, we lost Dad, and I said, I think so. No use lying to her,
Matthew presses on, hoping to come across a track which will lead them to safety. But just when he thinks he's making progress, the 4x4 suddenly stops in its tracks.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
What happened, Dad?
I started rubbing my head thinking, what the was going on? Why me? Why such bad luck?
Jump out, sweetheart. We are not going anywhere.
We've run out of track, we've run out of spares, we're stuck. I was supposed to have Shannon back that night, and we weren't going back that night. There was no way in the world.
As darkness falls, Matthew and Shannon have no choice but to camp out for the night.
Oh, I mean, if it had been just me, it wouldn't have been no matter, but I had Shannon with me. She was my main concern. She's always my main concern when she's with me.
And in the remote outback, he's unable to call his ex-wife.
If I could have phoned home, I would have, but yeah, no reception. Absolutely no signal whatsoever. At that point, I was thinking that, yeah, I might have made the wrong decision by not turning around and going back.
Okay, fine. Let's get going.
I was calling myself the biggest idiot under the sun.
Morning brings with it fresh hope. The cold of the night has hardened the ground enough for Matthew to free the 4x4.
We did it, sweetheart. Well done. That's it.
We were feeling really good. It was great to get out. No worries at all. Pretty happy that we're going to get on the way again.
Woo! We are going home.
Yeah.
Woo!
But they've hardly got moving when disaster strikes again.
Mayday, sweetheart.
Another puncher. I was cranky. Man, was I cranky. Got no more spares. And Yeah, we is in trouble. Big time.
What happened, Dad?
That's all right, sweetheart. I've got a plan.
Matthew knows that driving with only one flat tire at the rear will put massive strain on the car's axle. So he does what he has to keep it moving. He lets down one of his inflated, good tires. He also tries to hide from Shannon the seriousness of their predicament.
You all right, Dad?
Be home soon, sweetheart. Home soon.
So I ended up having 2 tight tyres on the front and 2 flat tyres on the back.
Okay. We're off. Let's jump in.
They crawl along at only 5 miles an hour, completely lost in the vast, burning desert.
I was in 4-wheel drive and I was just pushing along, straightened the steering wheel up and just kept going.
We'll be fine. Yeah.
But running the car on 2 flat tires in this scorching heat is putting enormous strain on the engine.
We're in 4-wheel drive, which brings up the revs of the engine a little bit, and because I was concentrating on what I was doing, I wasn't watching the temperature of the radiator, and it boiled.
Matthew now faces a huge dilemma. Their car is their only means of escape, but will go no further without water.
We had to put some water in the radiator, otherwise I would have cooked the motor.
But he has only 20 litres left, and in the raging heat of the outback, water is the key to survival. It's a huge risk, but Matthew is determined to get Shannon out of the desert and home safely.
I put 10 litres of water in the radiator and I kept 10 litres for Shannon and myself.
Right.
Matthew struggles on, but the strain on the engine is massive, and it soon needs even more of his dwindling water supply.
The car just seemed to be overheating all the time, and my dad really didn't make out that it was a big deal. I'm sure inside he was probably really scared himself, but he didn't let it show.
By midday, the desert temperature hits 115 degrees.
Whether it was an electrical fault or whether it was dry grass pushed up around underneath the hot exhaust system, I don't know, but I noticed smoke coming out from underneath the bonnet.
Shannon! Shannon, get out right now! Keep running back!
He has just seconds to grab whatever possessions he can
Stay back, baby!
before the car explodes into flames.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
They can do nothing as they watch the car burn. Their only means of escape is destroyed.
And we just sat there and watched it burn, and I was giving her a cuddle and trying to reassure her that we'd be right. She was scared. She was very scared, yeah.
What started as an innocent fishing trip has turned to disaster. Matthew's only way of getting Shannon out of the desert is gone.
It was sort of a last resort, really, you know?
Matthew had wanted this weekend to be a very special one with his precious daughter. Now he knows that without water or rescue, she could be dead within hours.
Yeah, we had a big cry together, even though there was no tears. There was a lot of sobbing, but there was no tears whatsoever. We were too dry to even cry a tear. And even to think about it now, like, I feel sad. I feel like I want to burst out in tears, actually. So yeah, you know, it's just one of those things. And I'd hate to ever put Shannon through that again.
Back at her home, Shannon's mum is running out of hope that her daughter will be found alive.
Looking up to the heavens and thinking, you know, if you're there, you know, show yourself by bringing her home. I would have promised everything and anything to have her back safe, yeah.
Their plight is hopeless, but Matthew won't give in till he's done everything he can to save Shannon.
I couldn't sleep. I had to get us rescued, and that was all I was taught. I got a log burning, and I took that out onto the flat and just started waving it around.
Hello!
Just trying to get attention. Somebody's attention, anybody's attention.
Hello!
From out of nowhere, this bloody set of headlights are heading straight towards us.
Help us!
The car was coming towards us, and then it just veered off.
Over here!
The driver of the vehicle doesn't see him, and their chance of rescue disappears into the night.
That feeling of elation just got shot down in flames. To see those taillights disappearing into the distance was just the worst moment of my life.
With the chance of rescue gone, Matthew is convinced that he and Shannon will not survive the night.
We'd played together, laughed together, cried together, and now we're going to die together.
All rescue efforts have failed to find Matthew and Shannon McGough, and they've gone 2 days without water in the ferocious heat. Extreme dehydration is causing Shannon's organs to shut down. She and her dad are both close to death.
I doubt very much whether we would have survived an 8th day. Pretty bloody sure of it, actually.
Then, just when all hope is lost, they come across a track. It's where the car must have driven past them the night before.
I was not going to leave the track. We're following it in the hope that this vehicle would come back or another vehicle had come through.
But Shannon can go no further.
Shannon wasn't saying much at all. Yeah, very, very quiet. I'd speak to her and she'd just shake her head or nod her head up and down, but she wouldn't speak, so disheartening.
Exposed to the scorching desert sun, Matthew needs to protect his dying child from the unbearable heat.
It was boiling. The heat had risen big time. It was hotter than the last few days. And I knew that I needed to get Shannon into the shade. So I dug a hole in the ground so that I could put Shannon in it and then cover her back over. And that would keep her a bit cooler than sitting out in the open.
But in this remote part of the outback, there's no guarantee they'll see another car for days, even weeks. Matthew knows he may have just dug his daughter's grave.
I was extremely sad because I'd brought my daughter out into this wilderness and that I'd put her life in danger.
After 8 days, battling to keep himself and his daughter alive, Matthew finally gives up.
It was just like, it's hopeless. There's nobody here, nobody can see us, nobody will see us. We were going to actually die of thirst, a slow, agonising death.
Dad rushing back over and waking me up and saying that he'd been found.
After 8 days in the outback, their ordeal is finally over.
I felt an enormous weight lift off my shoulders. I felt fantastic.
I still remember the car pulling up and this little girl coming out and me just crying and crying and putting her in my arms. And she said, I know why you're crying, Mum, because you're happy to see me. And I was, yeah.
Doctors estimate that when Shannon was found, she had just a few hours to live.
Yeah, I'd say it's a miracle.
Despite their ordeal, Matthew and Shannon are still close and still go camping together.
Dad probably takes more supplies now and we don't go as far, but it doesn't really change the fact that we still go camping.
I think there was a stronger bond as a result, although the next time we went camping, I wanted to go down this track, and she said, "Don't you dare, Dad, you stick to this one." So, yeah.
And our expectation was to go up and be back for lunch and then head home.
Out in open country, the friends find flying is the perfect way to watch the local wildlife.
Larry was looking here, looking there, pointing. He was like a kid in a candy store.
It was gorgeous, and all positives and nothing but fun and Yahoo, yay.
An hour into the flight, the friends decide to head higher into the mountains. In front of them is a vast ridge of snow-capped peaks. But as Justin tries to pull up and over them,
I looked at the instruments. You have a feet per minute indicator, up or down. And we were doing almost 800 feet a minute down.
a strong downdraft is dragging them straight into the mountains.
If I didn't do anything, I mean, that's going to be a horrible crash. You got to start making decisions. So I tried to turn the plane. But the stall warning would beep. If you stall, then you fall out of the sky. What I needed to do was get us on the ground without killing anybody.
Justin's pilot training kicks in. He knows he has to stay calm.
At that point, it became about slowing the aircraft down to minimize the impact as much as possible.
Your adrenaline goes off like crazy.
All of a sudden, you're about to die.
Time slows down.
We hit the trees.
Big, horrible banging noises.
Miraculously, Justin is completely unscathed. But the three friends are far from out of trouble.
The first thing that I remember seeing was the fuel. It was just like, oh my God, that's fuel. That scared me.
One spark could turn the wreck into a giant fireball.
Larry! We gotta get out now, Larry! Fuel's everywhere, we gotta go!
I told Larry, you have to get out of the aircraft right now. And he told me that his leg hurt. I explained to him he has to get out now if he doesn't want to burn to death.
Finally got it together. I managed to go backward out of the plane.
The plane could blow at any second. But Tommy is unconscious. He's taken a serious blow to the head.
Wake up! Tommy, wake up, man, we gotta get out of here! Tommy! We got fuel everywhere, wake up!
I yelled at him and he didn't respond.
Tommy! Please!
I was very concerned that I'd killed one of my best friends.
Tommy, come on!
Justin has to haul Tommy's 220-pound dead weight out of the plane.
The first thing I remember is a horrible pain in my side, and I believe that is when Justin broke my ribs.
The three friends have to get away from the fuel-soaked wreck. But Larry can't walk.
As soon as I put any weight on the leg, I just immediately fell over and screamed.
Larry, get up! Come on, stand up! Stand up! Attaboy, come on! Go!
When I got him to his feet, the pain in my side was excruciating. But I felt it was more important to get away from the gasoline than it was to worry about the pain.
The three men somehow managed to get far enough away and out of danger.
I looked at the plane. It was, wow, we could have all died. I thought, we're pretty lucky to walk out of that one.
Tommy and Larry are both seriously injured. As well as his broken ribs, Tommy has also taken a massive impact to his head. There's no way of telling if he has brain damage or internal bleeding.
The most life-threatening injury I had was the blow to the side of my head that had knocked me unconscious.
Larry's left foot took the full impact of the crash, leaving his lower leg and ankle badly broken.
It was useless, so I couldn't walk. There wasn't much that could be done for me. It had to be left alone.
Tommy and Larry both need emergency medical care before it's too late. But the men are stranded, miles from rescue, in an inhospitable mountain range. Justin is the only one uninjured. And as the pilot, he feels it's up to him to save them.
I definitely had a deep sense of responsibility to protect my friends and to get them the help that they needed. So we're in this situation. What do you do to make it better? I needed to do something. I was thinking about going back to the aircraft to make a radio call.
Now pilot Justin Kirkbride has to risk turning on the electrics if he's going to transmit an SOS call and save his two severely injured friends.
For me, my thought process was that I was probably going to burn to death. But I just decided that it was worth the risk. I truly believed that as soon as I turned the batteries on, that it was game over. I took a deep breath and nothing happened.
Mayday, mayday, mayday.
So I made my call.
November 3535 Echo. Cessna 172 due north of Durango in a canyon unknown.
But there's no response to his mayday call.
You know, I had no way of knowing if there was any signal that got out at all. And realistically, nobody knows where we are. My initial thought was that I need to get help here.
They're in the middle of a mountain wilderness, and there's no guarantee the rescue services even know they've crashed. Larry is completely immobile, and Tommy's massive hit to the head could develop into serious brain damage if he's not treated soon.
I just put in a mayday call. I don't know if it got out.
I definitely felt like I'd let them down.
I'm so sorry. It's all my fault.
I needed to do something to get them the help that they needed.
Look. It was an accident. It wasn't your fault. He felt really badly about it. So he was going to do everything he could to get us off that mountain as quickly as possible.
Justin believes the only way of getting help is by hiking out into the icy wilderness, unprepared and totally alone. He knows he's risking frostbite and even hypothermia, but he can't stay here and watch his buddy slowly die.
Are you sure you're okay?
I'm fine. I think I can get help.
Justin remembers flying over the town of Durango 10 minutes before they crashed.
I can get to Durango.
I knew that it probably wasn't more than maybe 15 miles.
Look, you're gonna have to talk to Larry. Say something. Reassure him. All right?
Yeah, okay. Larry. Larry. Have you ever been in a helicopter? No. I'm gonna get you one, okay? Soon.
Justin faces an added challenge. He has to get there by nightfall. Temperatures in the Colorado Rockies can plummet to minus 30 degrees as darkness falls. All three men are only lightly dressed and could freeze to death by morning.
Dark to me was a definitive end, so I was more worried about getting help before dark than anything else.
But Justin is actually over 20 miles from Durango, in the middle of a vast, unforgiving wilderness. The rugged terrain and freezing conditions will test him to the absolute limit.
Come on. Go. Come on.
You know, walking in snow and, no trails, it's not easy.
Justin has no map or compass, and only a vague sense of which direction he's heading.
I walked down to the end of the little gully that we were in.
And he's shocked by what lies ahead.
I didn't really recognize how far it was until I could look down the canyon. It looked like the canyon went on forever. I mean, it looked like a really long way.
I was messed up.
What was that? What is it? I don't know. At one point during the night, we heard an animal crashing through the woods. Whatever it is, it's nearby.
Are there bears in that area? Are there wolf? Are there anything else that might be dangerous?
I said to Larry, I hope that's not a bear smelling my blood trail.
There was so much blood everywhere from Tommy. The animals, particularly carnivores, they look for wounded. Something he might come looking for you that's hungry. I survived the crash and more worried about what was next.
There was that one little sharp jolt of unreality thinking that a bear might cross my blood spoor and follow it to us. But it was momentary.
Tommy has a reality check. It becomes clear to him that the chances of a bear attack this time of year, when most are hibernating, are slim. But by now, Larry has worked himself into a frenzy.
I was purely frightened at that point. There's a feeling of you're pretty small and alone out there.
He was just a nervous wreck, you know, thinking about this bear creeping up on us and snatching him out of the hole.
If a bear had come, what would have happened? I'd have been dead.
Tommy knows he has to stop Larry from panicking. He's wasting energy he can't afford to lose.
I knew I had to figure out something to ease his mind.
Tommy struggles back to the plane one more time.
So I've searched around in there, and the most portable thing I could find that might work would be the fire extinguisher. So I took that with me back. I told him that if he saw a bear coming at us, that he should point it at its face and discharge the fire extinguisher.
Use it.
Almost immediately when Larry had something that he could do, you know, that he could actively do to keep himself from being attacked by bears, he calmed down.
Soon, whatever creature was lurking in the forest disappears into the night. Justin Kirkbride and a helicopter crew have been searching for them without any luck. The chopper has exceeded its flying hours and has to return to base. Time is running out.
I've done everything except finish it. And ultimately, everything is important, but finishing is the most important. And I'm definitely distraught over the idea of leaving. I mean, we're so close, we can't stop.
Look, these are my friends out here. What if they were your friends? Just give me 20 more minutes, one pass.
Yeah, okay.
The two brothers-in-law are fighting hypothermia and constant pain to survive.
Oh, God damn it, this is really bad. I don't think I can make it through the night.
Just keep it together, Larry. We're gonna make it.
Tommy still has no way of knowing if his head injury is life-threatening. The crash impact may have left his brain badly bruised or bleeding internally.
I wasn't sure that I'd be awake all night. I could possibly go into a coma for no telling how long. And I was worried about letting Larry down, and because if I died, he would probably die too.
Tommy. Tommy. Wake up. The helicopter's come back. Wake up. Hey! Hey! Help! Hey, we're here! Over here! Help!
When they came back the second time, they were flying much slower. The lights were bright, when they flashed the lights across us because they were much, much closer.
Hey! Hey!
The first time, they had come so close and yet not found us. And that's when I remembered that I had a camera in my pocket. So I got out of the hole, walked over into kind of a clearing. I had 5 flashes left. And so I took my camera out and aimed at the helicopters as they were flying along their route. I flashed it as they came by. First low, next a bit up, next straight across from us, next further behind us. But they didn't see us. I fired off the last of my flashes. The 5th flash. And the helicopter paused and started searching with the searchlight. And then they spotted the airplane.
It was fantastic. It was like hallelujah. It was the best present, the best thing that ever happened to me.
Justin has delivered on his promise to get his friends help.
I knew that we'd found them. I've done everything I could possibly do. And so, yeah, I was definitely relieved and happy.
The helicopter crew search for a clearing from which to pick up the 2 injured and exhausted men.
And all of a sudden, the helicopter bumped a couple times, like some turbulence. And I thought, wow, that was weird. And we just spun around and bam, into the side of the mountain.
It's the second time Justin Kirkbride has been in an air crash in 24 hours. As the night drags on, Tommy and Larry start to wonder what has happened to their friend.
We're sort of like, well, where'd the helicopter go? Why did it go away and where did it go?
What started as a routine sightseeing trip has turned into a fight for survival. As it gets to the coldest part of the night, the battle with constant pain and injury has left them with no fight left.
I started thinking about loved ones and my dogs and, you know, whether we were actually going to live through the night. I was tired, I was aching. I was just ready to close my eyes.
You can't. If you give up, you're done. And I started to have those thoughts. That's a real low. That was the lowest point for me.
Hello!
At that point, pretty soon thereafter, I started regularly yelling.
Hello!
I wanted to hear someone's voice.
Hello! Hello!
of a sudden I heard someone yelling back, and someone answered. And that is a wonderful, wonderful sound. That is the best sound ever.
After nearly 19 hours fighting to survive, Tommy and Larry's ordeal is over.
I felt like I could, just let myself go and, surrender to the pains because I no longer really had to do anything. I was done with my night in the woods.
This here.
So I knew that we were going to make it at that point. We're basically saved. It was just the best thing ever.
Larry and Tommy are saved by a ground-based rescue team working independently from the helicopter crew. The team was dispatched from Durango the minute the plane had been reported missing. The rescuers were guided by the coordinates Justin had given them and followed his tracks in the snow. Under a mile away, Justin and the helicopter crew had survived their crash. The helicopter's main rotor had hit a tree, and it had fallen 70 feet to the ground. But all 8 passengers made it out completely unscathed. Larry and Tommy were airlifted to the hospital in Durango. They were reunited with Justin later that day. None of the 3 friends had any lasting injuries from the crash.
Any time that you crash an airplane out of the sky and walk away from it, there is some amount of luck involved.
A lot of that luck broke because of the common sense decisions that were made by those 2 guys. I would not be here if it weren't for them, no question.
It wouldn't have taken much for me to have killed Tommy and Larry. I could have been telling this story without a smile on my face, I guarantee it, without a lot of changes.